Hello and welcome to this video on authority, strategy and authority. What is it all about? Well, authority is about having sovereignty over the self. You see, to be sovereign is to truly be your own authority. It is to be self-governing. Well, I mean, how many people out there? And ask yourself, are you self-governing? Are you living your life from your own authority? You see, this is what human design is all about. Why human design was gifted to us through Ra-Uru-Hu. Why this knowledge was given to us is so that we can live as the beings that we truly are. We are a nine-centered being with 4 differentiated auras. There are 4 different kinds of auras that mechanically interact in a very specific way. Now, this knowledge allows us to know how to follow our authority, to follow our own strategy. You see, to be sovereign is to govern the self. Now, if we look at the word govern, well, what that actually means, it comes from a Latin root, which means to steer a ship, to steer it. That's what it means to govern. Now, if we look at the word government, that means to steer the ship of the mind. Govern, to steer, ment, the mental, to govern the mind. That's what government means. Well, I'm not suggesting here that we should be our own government because we don't want to try to control the mind. You see, it's the mind that does all the controlling. We are not in control. Once you get this, once you understand this and you follow your aura mechanics and your strategy and authority, well, then you get this true sense of control, which is actually just letting go of control completely and trusting the process and trusting the program. They ran into me, a manifestor yesterday that initiated the conversation. It was so interesting because she knows her human design. And she heard me, it was in the sauna, she heard that I was a projector. And so she initiated a conversation and she was very clever about it. She said, "What do you think I am?" And I wasn't onto it, really wasn't. I should have known straight away. She initiated that and she'd kept her distance. She's a manifestor. See, she knows how to initiate according to her type. She is here to initiate because she's a manifestor, and because she knows that, it works very well for her. And she obviously listened to her emotional authority. There are many different types of authorities. There are 4 kinds of auras, 5 types of being, because there's one subtype, which is the manifesting generator. Now, the manifesting generator has the same aura as a generator. That's why I've thrown them in. I haven't done a separate aura video or indicated that there is a separate aura for the manifesting generator, because there's not. And so some manifesting generators might be saying, "Hey, I've watched your first 2 videos, and what about the manifesting generators?" Look, you need to see yourself as a generator. It's very important that you do. Otherwise, you're not going to understand your strategy. The difference here for the manifesting generator is that when it comes to your strategy and authority, you're still going to wait to respond like all other generators, right? But then the way that you're going to respond is you're going to listen to your authority, you're going to follow your authority, and then when you go into that decision-making process, the outcome, I should say, when you move into your decision, you're not just going to respond, you're going to respond with impact. You're going to respond by initiating something. That's the difference between the manifesting generator and the generator. The generator will simply respond, begin to build. The manifesting generator will respond with an initiation. They're going to bring something kind of like a manifestor, but they are not here to initiate off the bat like manifestors. Let's get that nice and clear, because I don't want to throw anyone in the wrong direction here. Authority, let's come back to that sovereignty, truly being you. Now, do you want to be governed by the mind like we have been for the past, millennia? On and on and on, we have given our authority to an outside source. We have given our authority away. Now, there are groups of people and tribes that are saying, we want to be our own sovereign beings. We want to govern ourselves. That's all that sovereignty is about. Well, that's fine, but unless you embrace your own authority, how can you even call for your tribe to have an authority? You must first of all, as a nine-centered being, be coming from your own authority. Okay, so the manifestor is here in their strategy to initiate, but they need to inform, that's their strategy. The generator is here to wait to respond, that's their strategy. That's including the manifesting generator. The projector says wait for the invitation. They need to wait for that invitation. First, they need to wait to be recognized. They need to wait to be recognized as someone who can recognize. That's the thing with the projector. When often it will be correct for you if someone says, hey, I recognize that you're able to see things that others can't. Oh, that's going to get the projector going, because that's true, and it will make them feel successful. And then they will need to make a decision on whether they're going to work with that person or help that person, will depend on their authority, like with all of them, right? It's going to depend on the authority. And for the reflector, it is waiting for 28 days of the moon. So remember, what I'm talking about here, what I'm saying is that to be sovereign is to be self-governing, Okay, we're going to go into that now, because there are many different types. There are many different ways in which you can come from your authority. There are 7 different authorities here. Now let's start with the emotional authority, the solar plexus authority. The solar plexus is one powerful center, and we're going to go into the centers in videos coming. And that's going to be very interesting, because then what we're looking at there is the different configuration of our characteristics. But what we're looking at here today is authority, how you make your decision, whether it's a yes or a no, whether it's a stay or a go. Okay? The emotional solar plexus is wait for clarity. Now, here's something I want you to all understand. If you look at your chart and you see you have the defined solar plexus, you are an emotional type, which means your decisions are made via the emotions, not the mind, And so what you must do, the emotional type, they have this emotional wave. It goes up and it goes down. It is an oscillation. Consistently for the emotional type, their emotions are in this transitory state, always moving up and always going down. Now, those that don't have that authority, those that have the open solar plexus, that they're not here to know themselves or make decisions via their emotions. So if you have that open solar plexus and someone says, well, how do you feel about that? That's not a good question for you. You're not here to know how you feel about it. You need to know what your authority is and come from that. Okay, so to say to an emotional authority, what do you think you should do? That's not correct either. They are here to ride that emotional wave and have the clarity. So if a choice is there or a decision needs to be made and it's come to them while they're at the top of their wave, they need to wait till they've gone all the way down into the lower part of their wave and then all the way up. They need to go through a full cycle before they will have clarity. Now, here's the thing for the emotional authority. If you have to make a decision, okay, and it's a big one, and that emotional wave comes on, you can feel the emotions come out, there is no truth in the now. Very important for the emotional authority to understand. There is no truth in the now. You are a being that is very deep, and you must go through your emotional process. We move on to the sacral response. Now, this is the generator response. This is the pure generator response. And the pure generated response comes through the mouth. You hear it come out the mouth. You hear generators going, It's so funny when I'm doing readings for generators, they through the whole reading and just going, yep, okay, yep, The body answers for them. And then I say to them, so trust your authority, and your authority's been working the whole time. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, can you not hear the sounds that have been coming out of your body? This is one of the easiest authorities to follow. All you need to do is a pure generator with a sacral authority. You're not here to know your decision through your emotions. You're here to know it through the sounds that come out of your mouth or the nodding of your head. Your body decides for you. So if someone says, hey, do you want to come and do this? And you go, yeah, your body will just answer. Well, there's your answer. Now, if someone says, would you like to come and join us in this? And the answer isn't it will either go, or if there's a pause, if nothing happens, it's also a no. It's a no for now. So there's the authority of the sacral. We've gone through the authority of the emotional wave, go through that full oscillation, the sacral. So generators can have either of those two, and projectors and manifestors can have the emotional, but only the generator has the sacral authority. Let's look at the splenic, and I'm a splenic authority, and it's so challenging because the spleen only speaks once. It's very quiet. It is the immune system. And so decisions for me are made on safety and security and health. My decisions are made based on keeping me healthy, which is great as a projector because I need to watch my environment. And so my body all the time will answer for me. My spleen is instant. It is intuition. It is intuition, deep intuition. Not only that, it is instinct. But the thing is, it is the oldest awareness center in the body, and therefore it doesn't keep going, no, don't do that, don't do that. It just speaks once. So what does that require of me? Having a splenic authority, I need to be very aware of the signals of my spleen. It's quiet and it speaks once. But I tell you what, when I follow my splenic authority, my goodness, is life so much easier. There's far less resistance. And not only that, but I feel sovereign. I feel like I'm governing myself. Then we move on to the ego manifested authority. This is a manifester authority, the ego manifester. This is the heart connected to the throat. The heart is a motor and it's connected to the throat. This is a manifester. It doesn't have the sacral. So there's no gut, there's no instant response there. It's not, if the heart is there for the manifester and the spleen is there, it's still, the heart is going to have precedence there over that ego will be an ego, that manifester will be an ego manifested authority, which means the manifester with the ego manifested authority is here to go with what feels right for them, what they want actually. It's about their desires. What do they want? I mean, the ego manifester, watch out, because their decisions are made via their will. Okay? That's a strong energy, so watch out for that kind of manifester, right? But if you're a manifester with that authority, go with it. You are here to go with what you will, the willpower you have to initiate what it is you want. We now move on to the self-projected. This is a projector authority. The self-projected authority is really, really interesting. It's coming from the G center, but there's no motors defined. No motors defined, okay? And the head's probably open. There could be anything going on there. Configuration, it's really just centers from the G center up. And so it's often connected to the throat. And what that means is that this is where it's about being authentic. It's about hearing yourself, truly hearing yourself. If you are self-projected, it's really good for you to talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Okay, that's how your authority works. You need to hear your own voice. The authority is not inside you because there are no centers defined to give you that inner authority. However, you still have your own inner authority. But how you find your inner authority is by hearing your own voice. You need to be one of those insane-looking people that are talking to themselves all the time. You get clarity by talking to yourself. If you have that self-projected authority, you're the only person worth listening to in your life. How's that one? Then we move on to the mental projector. This is also a projector authority. See, there's many versions of projectors. So interesting, right? Many versions of projectors. And they have this environmental authority. And that their authority is only going to be understood for them dependent on the people they're around. They have this soundboarding authority. They need to talk to someone else and they need to hear the other people. It's how it's being reflected back at them within their environment. And if they are very aware, again, this is the odd thing, this is the interesting thing, is that their inner authority is in the environment. So someone that has the mental authority, they are very much one with their environment. Their environment helps them to know how to make a decision as themselves, that sovereign decision. And then we move on to the lunar authority. And of course, this belongs only to the reflector. The reflector, to make that big decision, needs to trust the authority of the moon. They are governed by the moon. They are a being that changes day by day by day by day. They have 28 facets. And so they need to go through the 28 days of the moon. If there's a big decision to make, say moving into a house or taking on a job, they need to go through the full 28 days, like the emotional type that needs to go through their emotional wave. That might take a day or two, could take a few hours. But for the reflector, it's very, very defined for them, 28 days. Don't go making big decisions until you've gone through the full 28 days of the cycle of the moon, and then you will have clarity, and then you're not going to put yourself in a position that could see you up shit creek without a paddle. Because that's what happens when we make decisions with the mind. That's what happens when we make decisions with the mind. We are not here to make decisions with the mind like our predecessors, the seven-centered being. They were very strategic. They were mind-orientated beings. We see now our mind as nine-centered beings is what we call our outer authority. Here's a key for you. Your mind is not your friend. It's everyone else's friend. Your mind is your gift to the world. It's not a gift to you. Your mind will lead you down a dark alley and rob you, okay? But your mind has far more potential. When you're following your strategy and authority, you're getting the body decides for you, the design decides for you, and then you let the witness simply watch and enjoy the show. Then what happens is the mind then gets to have its chance in the world and be shared with the world. The mind is here to be shared with the world. It is not here to help you make a decision for yourself. You can use the mind to help others make decisions, but don't use it to make your own decisions. That's not how authority works. See, here's the challenge. Human design is an experiment. It's not a belief system. So don't believe this upon me. Go to these many sites out there, Google free human design chart. Have a look at your chart. Follow some of these videos if you like. Follow me along and you'll be able to learn and understand your authority, and you'll learn and understand how to trust that, because all you need to do is trust your strategy, trust your authority, and watch the magic unfold. That's what I did. And in my work, because I've been invited to do so many readings now, and it's correct for me as a projector to be invited. I wait for the invitation. That's what I do. And that gives me far less resistance. Life is so much easier. And it is. It's like watching a movie. It just unfolds for you. The ease. Oh my God. And it's taken a lot longer for me to really get that. Okay. As a projector, it tends to take a wee while. For generators, they can really see the effect of their authority and their strategy within days. The manifestor, again, it can take a bit of time because initiating is a tough gig. When everyone wants to initiate. See, everyone's out there initiating, but there's only one type, 9% of the population, that is really there to initiate. The manifestor makes up 9%, around 9% of the population. The generator makes up, and the manifesting generator make up those two. The generator and the subtype, manifesting generator, make up around 70% of the population. Projectors are 20%, and reflectors are around 1%. And so you can see there's a configuration here. There's a geometry of the way life is meant to be. We don't want too many chiefs and not enough Indians, right? The chief is the manifestor. They're going to start it. They're going to start it. Then the generators and the manifesting generators, they're going to build it. So the majority need to build. That's what they're here to do. The generators are wonderful at that. And the projectors are like the foremen, the supervisors. They're keeping an eye on the details. They recognize the patterns, cycles, and pulses. They recognize all of that. And so we only need about 20% of the population to be, supervising and guiding those generators. And projectors can guide manifestors too, but generally it's going to need to be through an initiation of a manifestor saying to a projector, I would like your guidance. Okay, because that projector needs to be invited. And then the reflector, just that 1% of the population, they're here to truly let us know how we're going as a collective. They reflect back to their community, their immediate community. How the reflector is like the health barometer of the environment around them. How powerful, right? And their authority is the moon. understanding your strategy, your authority, coming from your type. So knowing your type. If you don't understand your type, go back to the previous video. I'd suggest, if you want to go on this journey and really move through these bits and pieces and get a good understanding and foundation of human design, go back to the first video and just move through with me here. I'm taking it step by step as we move through the strategy and authority. In the next video, I'm going to go into profile, because you see, profile is how we turn up in sharing our characteristics. And there are 12 different profiles. So in the next video, we're going to continue to keep going deeper. And as we go further, we're going to go into the centers and gates and channels and incarnation cross. And there's so much to share. But I want to take our time. It's really important for me as a projector that you understand each step by step by step. I'm trying to lay it out for you so it's nice and easy. This is all about taking out that heavy thought process and trying to decide what you're going to do. You don't need to, what a relief, right? What a relief that you don't need to try and know what it is you need to do. You don't need to use the mind to make your decision. Simply follow your strategy and authority, trust your auric imprint, and life truly is transformed simply through the awareness. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video on authority. And we are moving into an age where being your own authority is a deeply powerful place, very empowering place to be, because we're moving into a time where inner authority is going to absolutely be required if you want to survive in this world. Not just survive in this world, but thrive. You see, owning your own authority, your own strategy and authority allows you to thrive as you have been designed to thrive. Not as how the mind thinks you're meant to. Trust your strategy and authority and watch the magic unfold. Until next time, bye for now.